Hello and welcome to another episode of Intondo Podcast, the podcast that puts vintage design stories back into circulation. I'm Virginia Napoleone, co-founder of Intondo, and today I'm honored to be here with Paola Albini, founder of Franco Albini Academy and vice president of Fondazione Franco Albini. Thank you, Paola, for being with us today.
Thank you for having me, Virginia. I'm very happy.
So we are also glad to have this opportunity to speak to you. And as you know, Intondo loves to bring back stories about interiors and rare objects. And we couldn't think about a better person than you to revive valuable stories from the past, since you are Albini's granddaughter and, may I say, the guardian angel to one of Italy's historical design archives, the Fondazione Albini. Can you please tell us something about you and what do you do at the Fondazione?
Yes, sure. So let's say the Fondazione was born in 2007 after this great exhibition that Renzo Piano, who was the pupil of Franco Albini, dedicated to him for the centenario, the
100 years.
100 years from his born. And in that occasion, I could start to study my grandfather archive because I'm not an architect, and so my background comes from theater, so another world. And but in 2007, I fell in love with my grandfather for the first time. And I insisted with my father, and together with my father, we start to work in the foundation, so to found the Franco Albini Foundation. And we start with a question that is very close to you, so to Intondo philosophy. So why and what a cultural heritage like this can bring to contemporary. And so we started to experiment new languages in order to divulge and valorize the archive of the architect Franco Albini, but also of Franca Helg, who was his business partner from 1952, and also my father, Marco Albini, and Antonio Piva, that was associated with my grandfather. And now on, the foundation co-live with the architectural studio, because my brother and my father still work at the studio. So it's like 4 generations of architects from 1929 until nowadays. And we make, with the foundation, exhibitions and guide visits in his historical studio, and then publication researches. So everything that can help us to bring this heritage to public. And as soon as my background comes from theater, I started also to write some theatrical performances in order to dig into architect and designers' idea and explore their connection with their artistical, political, and social environment. And actually, it was exactly with the performance, which is called A Pathway to Talent, that 3 years ago was born the idea of founding the Franco Albini Academy. It was born in order to teach how to use Albini's method as an instrument of fulfillment in a personal and professional field. So the archive of my grandfather, I have to say, it's quite a never-ending story, because it contains a philosophy, it contains an orientation map that in order to help us also to create innovation in our own time. And in his 22,000 drawings, you can always discover something new. And I can say that my relationship with my grandfather's archive made me realize that when you go deep into culture, it's something that can change you. and can change and impact on your own way to see in the world, actually.
Yes, so this is very relevant and very unique to Albini, the fact that he has this very clear method, and that really you bring this back from the past and kind of keep it going into today's culture. And I'm always fascinated by the projects that you do, because of course you are an historical archive, but your projects actually are based very much on the present, and I may say also on the future. And now I understand why this is so important. And I'm particularly interested in hearing about future projects or projects you are currently working on. I've heard something about Casa Albini, and which made me very, very curious because of its name. And you know, you are an institution, but you chose a name that feels very homey in some sense, because casa in Italian, of course, means home and is where one feels comfortable. So I wonder what is Casa Albini and what you're working on.
So Casa Albini is kind of an headquarters in Gallura, in Sardinia. So it's in an amazing place into nature. And Casa Albini is based on an architectural project of the Albini Studio today. And it will be a place in which we will realize the workshop designed by Franco Albini Academy and Fondazione Franco Albini. This workshop are really open to designer and architects, but also to general public. So we needed, especially after the pandemic time, a place in which you really can have a real contact, a contact with you, a contact with your creativity, a contact with nature, and a contact with others without so many devices, but really you can have a deep experience on Albini's method, so working on Albini's method and take it for your life, but in an immersive experience. And the peculiarity of this Casa Albini is that it will be the first, let's say, showroom of all the re-edition of design pieces of Albini. So all the furniture will be Albini's made by Albini and producing by the company, 9 companies that nowadays produce his pieces. So we have the participation of Cassina, of Nemo Cassina Lighting, Knoll, Bonacina, Sica Design, Officine della Scala, Arflex, Codice Icona, and Exteta. So they are all together for the first time. And this is also a great thing, because you can have an idea of the philosophy of the space designed by Albini for the first time. So this is something that makes us
very excited.
Yes, very excited.
And when we'll be able to visit Casa Albini? Is there a deadline or?
Yes, we put the roof just 2 days ago. So it must be ready in June. The 30th of June is supposed to be ready. But actually, at the first time, we need to do a lot of job because we have a very big, let's say, garden. Yes, so we need to fix something before opening to the public, but it will be ready at the beginning to be photographed for some shooting. So to create some way of some vision of place and of the project that it will be there.
we are pleased to have this preview, and it sounds like visiting Albini's product. Probably he couldn't have imagined that this would happen with all his projects from different manufacturer coming together in the 21st century. It must be very special. And another thing we are very much looking forward to is maybe having not a venue, but maybe a publication where we could enjoy all the works that he has produced. Because you mentioned that in the archive you have how many drawings?
22,000. So,
so I
yes,
imagine
we have
that
a lot of fun.
not even you probably know all of them.
No, nobody. And you are talking about the publication, and we have this project, and we are working, especially Elena Albrici, who is the responsible of the archive, and who is now maybe the biggest, I mean, how to
Expert.
say, expert of it, because she's working there since 13 years, and but even her doesn't know everything that is in the archive, but we are working on this. It's a catalogue raisonné, so it's a really big one. It's catalogue raisonné by types of in a publication for Silvana Editore, of all the design pieces of Albini. And this is, as you know, no, Albini was an architect, he was a designer, he was an urban planner. And so at that time, he projects a house, for example, but he projects also every piece of design,
Furnishings.
exactly. And so we didn't know at all the design pieces that we had in archive. And with this publication, we could do this really big job. Also, my father was very active in this research. And there are also Giampiero Bosoni, who is an historical, very good. He's a part of the scientific committee of the foundation. So this is will be a great book for everybody who's interested in design, and especially for art galleries and case d'asta. I don't know.
Auction houses.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm particularly happy about this because in the design world, if you want, there is still a lot of research to do and a lot of discoveries to do. So it's very important that this book comes from the very source of Albini's work, because it means that it's going to be academically accurate, and that it will bring lots of information about works that are maybe still in private hands or still in locations. So we are very grateful for this big effort, because I imagine that it's a huge academical and curatorial work to bring together such a publication.
Yes, I have no meriti, I don't know how you say, but I'm very happy too, and very curious also, because I never seen so everything he did, and that I saw something, obviously, in this here more than 1 year and a half that they are working at it. And they are amazing, and you can understand all the time something new, no, as I say before, and some detail that are really from a genius, I would say. So it's really amazing.
A continuous discovery. So we usually ask our guests to share a memory of a place that is particularly relevant for them or significant for them, or to their life or to their career. And so I wonder, what is your place, or the place that you feel is more important to you?
I would say the site of the foundation, because this was the original is the original studio in which Albini worked the last 20 years of his career, together with Franca Helg, with my father, with Antonio Piva, and now, as I said before, with the studio. So it's a place that is really, it's exactly like it was, and you really can smell history in there. You really can smell all the life that passed in this hall, no, in these rooms, and also for me, of course, is a space of memories, because since 15 years I spent a lot of, and I share especially a lot of experiences and theatrical performance, a lot of exchanges to public that came. So I would say, and also the peculiarity is that obviously is a place in which you are surrounded by design pieces of Albini, you know, and even some unique piece, and all of them contain a philosophy and messages, and let you think about something, and you are surrounded always by beauty. But the wonderful thing is that you can share this beauty.
Of course. And now I guess you are again open to the public, so it is
Yeah.
to book an appointment for our audience if they are in Milan or in Sardinia, of course, to visit all the locations of Fondazione, and all, of course, taking advantage of all the workshop and courses you do there. Shall we invite them to the next events you're gonna do?
Yes, sure. But first of all, if they want to come to if you want to come to the foundation, anytime, you just need to reserve, and we can organize guide visit. Normally, we organize group visit for university students by university, but also for a group of friends that was to come. And once a month, there are 2 guide visits open to everybody, in which you can reserve and you can find the dates on the site. And one is on the let's say Albini's method through his design pieces, and the other one is a specific visit on a subway, on a Milanese subway, which was a project that won a Compasso d'Oro, that normally is a prize that you give to a chair, for example. No, so it's really interesting that it was given to a huge project like a subway, and
very alive project,
yes, of course,
still used every day by thousands of people. So
sure.
definitely something to enjoy for who is in Milan. And maybe the last question I will do, and then I'm really grateful for your time. We have talked many times about the Albini method. And can you please just shortly remind us of the steps of the Albini method before we close, so that it will stay with our public?
Sure. So Albini's method is consists in 5 simple principles. So the first one is segmentation. So it means to segment the reality, to segment the tradition, to segment your roots, so you can apply this in your personal and professional life. So in professional life, segmentation means for Albini to project every single detail and then recompose. Okay, so segmenting every single detail that compose the project. The second one is search for the essence. So take away everything is not needed. And the third one is recompose in a new form, in a new way. The fourth one is verification. That means that you never have to get up on a good idea, but you have to improve it and try to make it better and better and better over the time. And the fifth is social responsibility. So act with social responsibility, being aware that what you do or what you don't do will have an impact anyway on your contest. And so
Well,
to use your profession as it did as a social mission.
something that is actually so relevant today, and that is quite extraordinary that he thought about it, in the time of his life and applying to his projects every day. Really, a philosophy of life that is very, very valuable today as it was at the time. And I feel that this is really, really something that we can think about and understand that it has lots of applications in real life today. So let's remember Albini's method, and let's thank Paola for her time and for sharing all the wonderful projects you're doing at Fondazione. If you want to visit the website of the Fondazione, please do so to have updates about events going on. And of course, you can always go to intondo.com to hear new design stories and to hear the new podcast on our inspiration section. Thank you, Paola, and thank you to all our listeners.
Thank you, Virginia. It was a great pleasure to be here with you.
For us as well.